3, 2, 1, go!
Hello, what is going on, everybody? We are back, myself and Alan. It's been some time since we have gotten the booth and recorded a Power Wheels podcast. Well, you and I recorded an RC podcast
Yeah.
a few months ago, but yeah, we're back. We've both been very busy. You've been busy in your world of Power Wheels. I've been busy in my world of RC racing. Still busy. You're still busy. But we got together for a little chat here this morning. What's up, Alan?
How
you doing?
are you? Yeah, I miss this. This is almost like relaxed time, even though it's a work thing. Man, I get to chat with Lefty.
There we go. There we go. Your RC reel got a lot of attention. I knew it would get attention.
Yeah, look, I'm not in the industry anymore, so now I'm not afraid to say what needs to be said. Um and hopefully it invokes some change in the industry that allows more people to get in it and stay in it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the comments. A lot agreed, a lot disagreed, and I think that's not it is one of the factors that contributed to it, along with other things as well.
Sure.
That is a debate that I can go on for a very long time on a different show. But yes, you've also been busy. You've been RC racing. You celebrated a birthday. Happy belated birthday to you. Uh, our good mutual friend George also celebrated a birthday
Day after
too.
mine. Yep.
Yes, you raced some. You actually raced some RC boats.
I did. I raced one of George's boats, 55-mile-an-hour boat. Um, they say I did well. I flipped it 4 times. Uh, not once, 4 flips, 4 different times I flipped it
Okay.
over. But when I was, right side down, yeah, I was able to compete tight with other boats and just got to learn where the limit of a boat is because an RC car you break the limit a little bit and the rear end breaks free, you spin out. Boat breaks the limit. It's usually because it's flying in the air or rolling over.
Yeah. What? Which? Sorry, I know we're going on a tangent, but which boat did you run? Did you run a catamaran or did you run
Catamaran, yeah, an old style catamaran where the front end doesn't really hold the boat down well.
Yeah, so cats take a little bit of finesse and good tuning, and they need ideal water
It was
sometimes.
not ideal water. It was choppy
Uh,
and
you,
windy.
I'm surprised he didn't put you in one of his mono holes. So yeah, and I think that what we do in off road is a great big crossover, but you have to be very gentle on the steering of the boat because it's not like that. You can't hard lock it. It's very smooth. It's a lot. It's boat.
Yeah, he
RC
turned
boats
the
is
steering on my steering wheel down to like 40%. And even at that, I was still just using the slightest amount. And most of the steering is done with the throttle. So yeah,
Mhm.
it was
Like, and you never really come off throttle because you're just kind
yeah.
of like you never come completely off throttle.
No, no.
You're always in the power band of some sort. I say this, I'm trying to get my buddy to come with me to run my RC boats this sometime soon. So, all good. All right, enough about RC tangents. You also was in Montana for a little bit.
Learned a lot about the company while I was up there actually.
Really?
Yeah, we got a tour. I was up there, unfortunately, for a funeral service for a wife of one of the guys in one of my men's groups. But while we were there, we got a tour of the Montana Knife Company by the owner. Incredible facility. They just opened this manufacturing facility 6 months ago, and he walked us through all the machining uh, and the whole process from start to finish. So they're cutting steel. Well, we're cutting some steel too, and seeing how they do it, it's a much bigger scale that they work with. But we learned a lot about their order fulfillment. It's one thing that we've always struggled with coming from a grassroots operation, making sure our orders get there in one piece and correct. The failure rate's been higher than I've always always felt. and I only got 5 minutes to spend in the order fulfillment area because the rest of the guys that were with us, they want to see how knives are made. I'm like, I want to see how the business operates. Um, but yeah, we immediately, I was there Memorial Day weekend, and the day after Memorial Day, we changed how we pick and pack our orders, and instantly the orders are getting there so much better. It costs us a lot of more time, more employee hours, but it's worth it to make sure that the customer gets a better experience.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's you got to pay attention to things like that too, right?
Yeah.
Especially you never know when you can learn something and cross over to your industry, which you did. So good
Yeah.
stuff. Good stuff. I myself, obviously, I've been busy. I was busy on the road for quite some time, almost 2 months, all around the southeast. I even went up as far as Michigan. A lot of time on the road. It wears you out. I'm back. I had fun, and I'm back home, and I've been busy since I've been back home. So, and we finally got a chance to sit down and have a chat. So all good. All good. My daughter actually is here. She's like, "Can you
Ah,
charge up my car? I want to drive it today because we fixed it. We basically her buggy. We soldered all the you know how they come with the clips, but we decided to like solder onto the batteries and stuff like that.
best way to do it.
It's running good. We need to probably get a new wheel for it because it's coming apart, but we're gonna let her rip, and the neighborhood kids want to drive it, and that will happen maybe today. All right. But lots of things going on in the Power Wheels world, ride on worlds. You sent me a link the other day before we get into what you got going on. A little bit of Power Wheels news here. And this is actually pretty big. So I'm gonna add this to our stage and I'm gonna have a read of it. So basically this is from Toy Book. I assume this is a magazine that you follow. And it says here that Sakura International has been named the North American manufacturer for Power Wheels through a new agreement with Mattel. Under the partnership, Sakura will oversee the development, manufacturing of Power Wheels ride-on products across North America, beginning this year. Fresh production developed under Sakura's leadership are expected to arrive at retail in fall 2026. It goes on to say that according to the companies, the agreement builds on a relationship spanning more than 14 years across multiple product categories. Okay, so it sounds like these guys actually do some work for Mattel already in a different sense. They might make toys, they might do something for them of some sort. And I would assume that they get the licensing, which is expensive, while structured as a licensing arrangement. Both companies describe the collaboration as part of a broader long-term partnership focused on the growth and retail expansion. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. The upcoming product lineup is expected to combine classic Power Wheels play patterns with updated designs, performance features, and accessibility improvements aimed at modern cars and consumers. So, you are a Power Wheels. So, you are the Power Wheels guru in all of this, and this is your business. When you read that and sent that to me, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's a good question. We'd all like to have the answer for. We don't know yet. We know what we're reading in that article. As a Power Wheel Service Center, Mattel hasn't said anything to us yet on it. Um, we know that for the current vehicles that they haven't been produced since 2021, um, when those parts dry up, those parts are gone. Um, Everything I'm going to say now is speculation. Number one speculation is we couldn't see them using any of the pre-existing molds, either for the bodies or the parts, the gearboxes, or anything on the new line of vehicles. It's possible. Again, speculation. Sakura already makes some of their own ride-on, some hoverboards and other stuff. Quality. We've never worked with them directly, but we the online responses is not fabulous with them. Um, so we don't know what quality of vehicle to expect. I hope Mattel embarks on them that, hey, this has to be a high quality vehicle. We don't know what kind of vehicles or how many vehicles. We really know nothing yet. We don't know, is Power Wheels going to continue the Power Wheel service centers? Like, are we going to be trained to work on these Sakura vehicles? Are we going to be part supplying for them? Sakura doesn't currently make anything in the United States. They're made in China. Uh, but are they make opening a United States, or the Power Wheels used to be Mexico? We just don't know any of that yet. Hopefully, we'll know something before the vehicles come out in fall. Uh, but it's an X factor. Are they going to get to back to the top of the game, or are they going to just meld in with the rest of the import vehicles out there?
Well, when I read this, my brain thinks that they are going to use existing molds because they're there and they don't have to build anymore. Uh, and I would say that obviously I believe that the metal quality of cars is a little bit higher grade than what we're getting out of China. So that same quality has to happen. Maybe they'll make some adjustments. Maybe they'll make some new cars eventually. Maybe they'll launch a car line. But I think they'd be kind of uh I think it wouldn't make business sense to not make what is already there, especially like there's like people are dying for those McQueen cars to come back out, for the racing side of things. So I would think they use things like that. They make adjustments to them. It's a uber competitive market right now because of all the knockoffs. I don't want to call them knockoffs, but the Asian Chinese version of these cars, right? You know what I mean? They are not of the quality of Mattel. We can say that. We can say that. They're not bad, but they're not the best. So I'm wondering if they're going to keep to the same standards. Like you said, are they going to open up are they have a turnkey factory in Mexico that they can operate again? Are they going to bring manufacturing back to the USA, which I'm pretty sure is the biggest consumer of the ride on market in the world? Or if not one of, if not, So it's a lot. It's interesting because we thought Mattel was going to stop, or they did stop producing it, but now they are. And then, of course, factor in the fact that you too are now making your own ride-on vehicles. It, it's, yeah, it's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, we don't know what this will lead to for the future of us making vehicles. If they produce a high end quality car, then do I want to compete with Mattel? You know, they obviously they can produce cheaper than we can, and market more than we can. If they don't produce a high quality car, then we're still going to fill that void. So right now we're staying the course, until something tells us to do otherwise. Matter of fact, the fire trucks they're shipping to us this week. So first vehicle on the way, and we're going to keep going.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. And I was about to say also, even if they do continue to make these vehicles, that still is viable for you because you make so many parts and replacement parts, and so that will also help you on that side. It, like you said, you don't want to you don't want to compete against them on the actual vehicle side, but where you compete and beat them is on the replacement parts and support side of it, on the other flip side. So if they're producing that, hopefully makes more, should in theory make more income for you.
Yeah, it's all in theory right now. If they make, at least a moderately good car, then yeah, absolutely, we're going to make upgrades for them. That's a no brainer for us. If they make a really cheap car, and I can't see them doing that, but then we wouldn't do it. We've seen over the last number of years the quality of these Asian imports has been improving because it's a supply and demand. People are asking for a better product, and they're seeing the better ones are selling more often. So they are getting better at it, and those are the ones that we focus on making the modifications for right now. Um, And even if they make a premium, if Mattel makes a premium car, which is what we're hoping for, the biggest X factor is like Sakura, like their hoverboards are brushless motor systems, with our buddy Brian would be thrilled with. But how sealed up is everything? How the stuff is going to have to be accessible for a consumer to be able to swap out the gearbox, swap out the electronics. Sometimes they like seal things closed in toys nowadays where you can't take it apart and then put it back together. So speculation until we know more.
So have you investigated what they actually produce for Mattel, this company?
No, I've investigated what they produced. I don't know what's for Mattel and what's not for Mattel.
Okay. So you said hoverboards. What other stuff do they produce?
They have a e-scooter, and then a whole lot of like low end toy stuff. I mean, you can go to Cigar's website, SAKAR, and you can see the
Mm.
products that they currently make.
Okay, so they are in this market of some sort.
They make stuff with wheels and power. Yes.
Okay, okay. All right. So it isn't like they're making action figures and then coming to do this type of stuff.
No, no, they have some basic idea of how to make a car move.
So now I understand why you feel if the quality is going to be the same.
We just don't know. It can go any which way. Does Mattel have engineers that they can lend to the car? Or Sakura maybe always had the engineers, but nobody willing to invest like Mattel is.
Maybe
This,
they have maybe they have a car already done and a Mattel car.
yeah, there's a lot of business that goes in behind, uh, you know, getting the car to market and
Yeah,
deciding what the car is going to be like.
yeah. That's actually a great segue into our next topic, and that is your fire truck is on the way.
Yes, we are excited. It's amazing. There was so much to do to getting the truck finalized and done. There's a month of video and photo shooting. I mean, they're actually still doing more of that. There's nothing on the website yet because they're still building out the website for it and getting the user experience right on the website. And we want to have parts available right away for it, and then upgrades available right away. So we had to develop upgrades for a car that, we have a prototype here, but it's, usually when we develop upgrades, we send out 100 plus to customers as beta testers. And, we don't quite have the same opportunity to do it the same way with this. So it's taken a little innovation to make it work. We got different sticker packages coming for the fire truck. So the way it comes right now, if you're a firefighter, you'll get this. The stripes are similar to a New York City Fire Department (FDNY). We're doing a California fire striping design, and I think the other one was Boston fire design. So you'll be able to buy custom striping. Um, One of the struggles I had, if you look at the prototype model, is engine 94. That was my engine number. That means a lot to me. Doesn't mean anything to anybody listening to this. So we're going to sell number packages. For the guys that are firefighters, you'll be able to put your own engine number on it for your kid. So some of the little things that make a fire truck different than any other Power Wheels, making sure we meet those needs. You'll be able to right away expand it up to 18 or 24 volts, expand it up to 775 motors. I think we've talked about in the past the new gearboxes we had to design for it, and we'll get into that a little more when we talk about some of the new upgrades we've got for the regular cars. And and then we had to set up distribution. We're in New Jersey. We're not shipping one of these things the size of a mini fridge to California in any economic way. So we had to set up warehousing around the country that when you place an order, it's going to ship more locally to you, and won't cost as much to do. So it's a whole lot of new factors that had to get decided and figured out, and I think we got it all done.
I know how stressful this was too because we've chatted, and it's been a long haul for you. How were the first tests of the vehicle, like first drives, first impressions? Did was what you showed me, is that basically what people are getting, or are there going to be some tweaks?
Yeah, what I showed you is exactly I've showed you a couple of things. So I think the first video we had was when the vehicle was still in China, and when one of our engineers over there, um, cranked it up to 24 volts. This is just the first video they sent us to test the maximum durability of this thing. So he went up to 24 volts with it and got on it himself, you know, adult, not a kid. So he's sitting on the back of it and he's riding this thing around in a field and it's flying, for again, much bigger than a regular Power Wheels. And it's doing probably 10, 12 miles an hour. And that with the weight of a full adult in it. So I'm like, whoa, we gotta whoa that back a little bit. But the point is, it handled it. The new gearboxes took it. The electronics took it. Um, and that was exciting. So then when we got it over here and we did the video shoot with the kids, then we got to see what it's like at 12 volts. It's not a speed demon. We don't want it to be, and you're welcome to turn it into it, but it's a fire truck, not a race car. So it does an adequate speed. It just provides a lot of fun. The siren on it is an American sounding fire siren, not a European wee woo. Things like that I wanted to get right. So the kids were having a blast on it. That's the important, the end important thing. It's not what I think of it. Is this something that the kids were like, hey, I don't want to stop playing with it. I want to keep going. And that's what we scored with it.
Excellent, excellent. When do you expect them on in stores and ready to go? Sell.
They'll never be in stores. No
Sorry,
time.
when
Online.
online and to be start shipping out. Sorry.
Yeah, I would like to see the website launch. We're having a meeting about it next week, but before the end of June, I'd like us to start taking pre-orders on them, and then they should be by middle of July is when they'll arrive and get to their warehouses, and then those pre-orders will start shipping out. So just
Excellent.
6 weeks away or so.
It's not long.
No.
Not long. Good stuff. Good stuff. Great stuff. And congratulations on getting to this point. And I wish you all the success in sales and performance. And then we're gonna go. Then you have to get into like RC cars. When that first RC car comes out, what teething issues you're gonna have, all that type of stuff's gonna come here soon too.
Yeah, and we're going to learn a lot with the fire truck that'll help us with the development of the on-road and off-road car we've highlighted on other shows. But I'm not waiting. We can make edits as we go. The off-road car, I've already tasked the designers. Like I said, some of these Asian imports, they're upping their game a little. So I want to make sure we're at the top of the game too. So our off-road car, which looks like an RC car, I told them I want that front suspension to be a fully independent working suspension. I want to see those shock springs moving.
Okay.
We have rear suspensions. This one was already going to have, and they're already out there. But in the ride-on car world, the only front suspensions are these little tiny springs and doesn't do much. We want, this is going to be all-wheel drive, so you need a front suspension that's active.
Okay.
Little things like that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I look forward to it. I'm sure you got a whole social media blitz plan for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can we talk about pricing more or less on here, or you haven't had that finalized?
On the fire truck, we're still not totally finalized, but it should be around the $800 area. And we'll see. Maybe it'll be under, maybe it'll be over.
Yeah, and I was. This is another segue into something we talked about, and if when I had the guy from Ryder Toys on her, and I went on the prices of some of his stuff. I mean, he had vehicles on there that was almost $2,000 too, right?
Yeah.
So-
Honestly, our vehicle should price around 1,200.
Mhm.
I'm not looking to make a lot of money on the vehicles. I want to get quality cars out there to keep the industry alive. And we'll make money when you modify it. So if the vehicle is almost like a loss leader, bonus for you guys. Let's keep this going. And I'm more about making cars that we can make upgrades for.
Awesome. The other news that you told me was that I think is Nick. His name was from
Yeah,
Ryder
he was
Toys?
episode 2 or 3 of yours. Yeah.
Yeah, he sold off Ryder Toys or Ryder. Yeah,
Yeah. God bless him. If you listen to his story, on that podcast, what a great success story for a young guy. And I reached out to him when I read that article, and I'm like, "Man, congratulations, you're sold." And um, he didn't have a direction plan next. He's not sure if he's staying in the industry, gonna do something totally different, gonna go back to surfing. I don't know. But how cool! It's the American dream. What he did, just built a company, made a whole lot of money, made a good car. It's his marketing company that bought them out.
Mm,
I don't know what that's going to mean for Ryder Toys. Hopefully, they hold that same standard. Again, Ryder didn't make the cars; they select cars made in China to import. But what Nick did well is he picked some of the higher quality cars, so he got a better reputation for it, and
mhm.
hopefully, they maintain that kind of standard. We liked working with Nick. We like working with the cars that Ryder brings in, and I'm definitely hoping to continue that.
Yeah, we had a interview with Nick, I think it was one of our earlier episodes. I have a question, I don't know if you know this, or when somebody does do something like that, like, did he build that business to enough where he made obviously, he made money doing it, but did the sale of the company, do you think it bought him, like, a good bit of money? Like, a multi-million dollar deal or a couple 100,000? I don't know what something like that would sell for.
Speculation again, but I would imagine he made multi millions. He's young, so I don't think he's retired forever.
Mhm.
But yeah, he exiting, and man, exiting right before Mattel decides to step back in. That might have been the smartest move ever. Not knowing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Congratulations to him. I think he's the type of guy that enjoys building a business from nothing.
Yeah.
So, but he has to be inspired, and like how he was inspired to do his ride on company. So we wish him all the best. All the best.
Yes.
All right. So that's a little bit of industry news. Let's get into some product development, new products that you have under your belt there at ML Toys.
Cool. Awesome. I got four new things to share. Um, One of them, our steel first gear, which was probably the second or third product we've ever produced. Um, we had to change gear manufacturers. I loved working with the company we were with before, but the demand from you guys got to more than they were able to produce. Plus, we wanted to produce some new things that their machining wasn't set up to do. So this is the steel first gear that's been out forever. But if you guys have been around a while, actually, I've got one of the old ones here. That's one of the old ones. This is one of the new ones. Oop, ball bearing just fell out. Um, so right off the bat, you see that the lightning holes that we had in them are gone, and we've had people say, "Hey, I thought they were lightened gears." Well, this is made of a lighter metal. Progress in technology and the ability to invest, we've been able to get the same weight gear out of one that doesn't have the holes drilled in it. It saved a whole lot of money for everybody. The hardening process is different. The machining process is a lot more modern. Um, and you really can't see it on the camera at all. But in the middle there is a sleeve that we've now pressed into it. What that does, before we were relying on the cut to get the two bearings perfectly lined to keep the gear from having a thousandth of a tilt this way, tilt that way. So now we've got a sleeve in there that the bearings have to mesh flat to, and you're actually going to get a truer spinning gear. It's going to lead to less second gear failures, less pinion gears wearing out. um, we still run a lifetime warranty on them, and especially for the guys that are racing, it's going to push them. Just give them a little bit more edge and give our customers a little better experience overall, just even for backyard bashing. These work in the Phoenix and the 7R gearboxes. Uh, so that's upgrade number one. That's just a modification. It's a running change. We didn't change the price um, or the part number. It's just a running change to inventory. This is one that you guys have been asking for a long time. This is the second gear in the gearbox, the next most likely to break gear. Um, and so we finally been able to create one out of steel. The issue with these all along have been this gear is a unique cut that, yeah, it's just unique to its own pitch count. I don't even know what number that would be if it has a number to it. So we had to develop machining for it in order to make a steel second gear that works in the cars. So more durability for the backyard basher, but for the growing Power Wheel racing community, this is huge because they're doing the first gear deletes and putting all the power down through that nylon second gear, and that's been the weak link for them. They've been ripping that up. So this is a hardened steel on 2 ball bearings, same sleeve in the middle, um, gear, and this will only work in the Phoenix gearbox, though. The shaft is different on the Phoenix than it is a 7R. So for those of you racers that have been running 7Rs, I mean, it's really time to upgrade to a Phoenix anyway. 7Rs, everything we're talking about Mattel are likely to be fading out of existence. And the Phoenix was always designed to be a faster top speed gearbox anyway, just by less friction to it. So these are on the website available now. We were doing pre-orders. They came in 2 weeks ago. Nothing but good things from the customers that have them now. That's invention number 2. Number 3, this is a new first gear delete plate for the drag racers. Please don't buy these for backyard bashing. We know we have customers doing it, and the cars that backyard bash just shouldn't be doing that as much. These go on the back of the gearbox. I'll get into this little part later, and allow you to then cut out to either to delete your first gear and run your motor right onto the second gear. You can run 1, 2, or 3 motors with this plate. And the other nice thing about this newest version of the plate that we came out with is this will work on either the 7R or the Phoenix gearboxes. So if you want to get started right now with the 7Rs you already have, you can, and you don't have to rebuy them again when you upgrade to the Phoenix gearboxes. Um, so, yeah, new sets. These are available on the website now. And we still have the old gearboxes. We stopped making the top half that covers the hole where the motor went. We found a couple of things. One, there's just no need to. All the extra machining that's involved to cut around the motor, the extra metal that's there, there's just no need. Leave the motor hole open. Um, you're on a drag strip and you're running for a few seconds. You're not in the dirt. There's nothing, even if you were on the dirt, there should be nothing getting up all the way into the motor compartment up there into it. If you want, you can just bolt a stock motor into there to cover the hole. And that brings the other point back is the option then to go back to having a first gear in the gearbox with this setup. So that's our triple motor first gear delete plate, or however motors you want to delete. Next upgrade, this is not as much of an upgrade as a replacement. This is the driver hub that most Dune racers used. And this is discontinued by Mattel. This is one of the weak points for the car. So we decided it's not worth it to pay for a mold for this. There's just not enough Dune racers out there breaking these. But there's enough that we want to keep those Dune racers running. There's hundreds of thousands of Dune racers out there. We love the car. It's a great platform. So we needed a way to keep that running. 3D printing this was even going to be very expensive. These would have cost about $100 each, 3D printed with all the stuff there is to it. So we worked with our engineer to come out with this 2-piece design. What we wound up with by accident here is a less expensive setup that works in 2 ways. One, this is an extension. If you have an F-150 or a Dune Racer, any hollow axle vehicle that you want to make a longer axle and give it a wider rear end stance, this is basically a driver hub extension that goes on the gearbox, and the driver hub goes on here. You want to shorten the car, take that off, put this right onto your gearbox. I don't know how well it'll show it, and lock it on. But put together, this is a less expensive, and we sell it as the package because the main primary purpose is to keep Dune racers on the road. So this is a driver hub that we have. I think it's 3900-6803 or 6805 is the part number. So we're keeping you guys running. We're doing what we can. We're not going to reproduce every part for every Power Wheels that's discontinued, but we recognize the parts that are broken more often for the cars that they produced enough of. So, those we want to keep running for you guys as long as we can. Final upgrade I alluded to before is the Phoenix 2.0 gearbox. This was a necessity that came out of designing the FireTruck, and what we got with this was some cool upgrades to make a more durable and faster gearbox. So what we're going to do with this gearbox, I'll start at let's start at the top. So anybody that's got one of the import vehicles, so Power Wheels, you always set the gearbox onto a flat bottom chassis to keep the gearbox from moving instead of, to keep the tire going. You've got to lock the gearbox in place. All the import cars, instead of doing that, they have a sleeve around the motor, and the sleeve is what keeps the motor from moving. It goes into a hole in the chassis. So this is going to be able to work both ways. So if you've got an old Power Wheels, you'll be able to still use this gearbox on it. If you're using it on our new vehicles that we're designing, we're going to use this method of holding this on. You can cut these off very easily. If you're going to put it in an old Power Wheels and you want to put a heat sink on or a cooling fan on, you can do that. The gearbox is still cut for both 550 and 775 motors, so you can go either way with that. Next part of the development is the first gear, the nylon first gear, is now going to be on a ball bearing. That's going to allow 18 volts to not melt the gearbox. It's almost a given when you go to 18 volts with a nylon gear, is you're going to melt that. Right now, our 18-volt combo pack, you wind up with a steel gear on there, which raises the price. So this will be a less expensive entry. We still recommend the steel gear so you don't strip the teeth out on the gear, but at least you have a nylon, less expensive option going into it. The other two gears, no change on them. Again, they're holding up. Again, this hardened steel second gear can drop right into there. Big change. We took what we're learning from our Paragon gearbox and we put a ball bearing on the final drive gear. And that's a huge change. That just increases efficiency more. It allows the car to adapt for bent axles, which happens when guys overweight a car, when they're pulling trailers with a car, especially the fifth wheel trailer style. Um, this is just going to be a lot more durable for you drag racers. We all know you go faster with ball bearings. So, if you have a first gear delete, a hardened steel second gear on ball bearings, this guy almost does nothing. And then ball bearings there, then oh my God, this is going to be just a way more powerful option. The other thing that we're doing right now, the gearbox is sold, and this shows how like a hollow or a solid axle setup. We sell the Phoenix 1.0 gearboxes currently as either a solid or a hollow axle. Well, we learned with the Paragons we don't need to do that anymore. These are all going to be sold basically as a hollow axle gearbox and then a Delrin bushing to reduce it down to a solid axle. For us, it cuts our inventory in half. And for you guys, it's another bushing, acts like a bearing. It's going to increase efficiency as well. A lot of upgrades coming with this. These will be replacing the Phoenix 1.0 sometime in the fall. So watch for announcements on that. And I'm not positive yet, but I think we were actually able to do all this with adding 4 ball bearings to the gear case and all without changing price. I'm hoping we can stick to that. I can't guarantee it yet. Lefty, that's what I got for new stuff for today.
Dude, that's a lot of stuff. I am so I have a question. That gearbox would drop right onto my daughter's Dune racer, right?
Yes, absolutely. There may be some vehicles that, again, this ring won't fit into the gearbox. You'll be able to just cut that off with a razor knife, quick and easy, no big deal. Otherwise, this will work perfectly in a Dune racer.
Yeah, I think I need those plus the 2 steel gears.
Of course you do. We all need that, right? We can't survive without it.
We need that. And then she can her and the little kids can go up and down and drive over coconuts and rocks and all that stuff that they do out there on the road.
I will tell you one other thing that we're working on right now. For those of you with the import vehicles, a lot of people have been buying our Paragon speed controller. I'm sorry, our Titan speed controller, because it handles the power of increasing the voltage and also going to the stronger motor gearboxes we make. Um, but we had originally kept the braking effect the same as what the cars come with stock. Um, and we're listening to you guys. We recognize that a lot of you guys are saying, "Hey, we want a softer braking effect." So we are currently we have some test models out with customers to get that measurement amount right on the test brake on the braking, and we'll be modifying the speed controller.
Dude, you're busy.
Yes, that's still not all of it.
I'm amazed at how much you get done
Me
as a
too.
one person. Well, I'm sure you have a team, but
It,
you're hands on of all this stuff.
Definitely hands-on with all of it, I'm the coordinator, but, like with the speed controller, I tell the engineers, "Hey, I want softer braking." I'm not the one sitting on the computer and soldering a circuit board and stuff. Uh,
Well, I understand that, but you gotta facilitate that.
yes. Yeah.
So, it is a lot of work, and I always come back to RC and the amount of stuff that they do and how long it takes them to do stuff, and then I watch you, and I'm like, who knows? Maybe I think maybe your business is bigger than most RC stuff in some things.
Maybe. I mean, fortunately, the customers, are buying, so it means we're serving them well, we're doing it right, and we're able to use some of that money to reinvest in the right employees and newer equipment, newer materials. So, it's a self-perpetuating thing.
It's exciting, excited. I'm excited to see the fire truck, out in stores and the website and whatnot. Cool parts. I mean, people, like you said, people have been asking for the steel second gear for quite some time. You have that, and I think people are gonna. I think they're gonna fly off the shelves. To be honest with you.
Yeah. One new thing that we've been doing, if you've been watching the website, and you'll see more coming, we're re-engineering the website again because the industry is changing so much. So we're making sure that our how-to guide and our troubleshooting guides and all that are up to date with for the new vehicles. We're writing more and more, and we're actually writing more and more on the website and blogs and things that will help ChatGTP and Claude and other things. They have to get their knowledge from someplace.
Mm.
So we're making sure that AI is actually going to give you the right answers when you put in, needing help on how to make my Power Wheels faster or fix it. Um, and that's an interesting journey. That I'm an old guy. This is all new learning for me. Um, but we're seeing reduced amount of questions on the website, so we know it's working. The less questions that I get, the more time I can spend making new products.
Cool, cool. You gotta evolve, right?
Yeah.
Evolve with the times
Yeah.
and it's about working smarter. You always gotta work hard, but you gotta work smart too.
Yep.
I would say that we're doing similar things with our podcast in the RC world and stuff. We're pivoting and doing things and trying to do different things a little different. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff, man. That's actually all of that. Was very interesting because it's good to see things coming into fruition for you. I know how hard and how difficult these things can be, but you seem to, like you always say, you have a very good relationship with your guys over there in Asia, and they seem to be pushing out a lot of stuff for you. And some of the dealings that I've had with the factories over there in Asia, just not dealing with them myself, but watching through, like, with the people that I work through, it's sometimes it's not as easy for the RC side.
Yeah. It's fortunate it's pretty easy for us. My main guy I work with over there has gotten a much better mastery for English. That actually we had some expensive mistakes early on just because he didn't understand what I said. Um, and it goes both ways. I guess I could be learning Chinese. And I don't want to just say all Chinese because look, these are still made in America. These are in Chicago now. Um, these are 3D printed. All my 3D printing is done in the US. I always look to make in the US when possible. But motors, still, there is not a single US manufacturer of motors. Period. I can't go to anybody and say, "Hey, how much would it cost to make a motor for us?" We're not going to make a motor. Like that's an industry. Um, and yeah, I just wish that we get back to the days that we can opt to make more things here.
I mean, I know a lot of people want that, but I think it's gone so far that it's very hard to get to that level again. Um, all right. Very cool stuff. I want to pivot a little bit before we finish up her racing side of things.
Mhm.
My contact for racing is usually Brian. We chat every once in a while. I know he's been uber busy. He just had like a local, I would say like a club race type of race, and then he had a bigger event alongside of a real drag race that looked very good. He seems to have done a really good job of taking over that association for the Power Wheel stuff. I saw his setup. I was like, look, dude, it looks good. I think he's even working on coverage. So he's busy. I know Teeter and those guys had Fast Life, I think, a
Mhm.
few weeks ago as well. It's summertime, people out there racing. There were some other groups you told me to look out for as well.
Yeah, Young Outlaws Power Wheel Racing. Boy, I can't remember where they are offhand. But they're a big racing organization that's up and coming. Um, they're on Facebook, and then Kansas City Power Wheel Racing is growing very rapidly. And there's a lot of groups that I don't even know about. So yeah, if you do want to get into Power Wheel Racing, go on to the best thing. If you don't know if there's one in your area, go on to our Facebook group, Power Wheel Addicts, and just say, "Hey, is there any Power Wheel racing, in whatever area you're at?" People will let you know. And if there isn't, start one. And we'll help walk you through, and Alex and any of the other track race directors, they'll all help walk you through what it takes to start a race division. Not hard.
Cool, cool. My next guest, Brian, is gonna come on, and I'm sure we have lots of stories to talk about drag racing and what's going on because he's obsessed with this stuff. Like he is in it
Yeah.
24/7.
Ryan's good. And that might be a good thing for him to address on the podcast for listeners is how do you start your own?
Good topic. Great topic.
Yeah.
Alan, when's your next LCRC visit?
2 weeks I'll be out there again. Excited for that July race. It's the party rock race out there. So there's a lot of partying, a lot of rocking, a lot of racing. Yeah, yeah.
I now understand why you're there like on Wednesdays because that's your downtime from doing all this stuff at Power Wheels.
Yeah, not only that, I go out there on Wednesdays because it's getting so popular there that to get a good RV parking spot, you got almost got to get there on Wednesday now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's great for them. Great for
Yeah.
them. Alan, anything to add before we wrap this up? It was a good chat with you, man.
No, just for the backyard bashers, keep an eye on the website. We're always adding more stuff, and for the racers, keep racing, keep spreading the word, and yeah, it just keeps growing and getting faster and funner.
Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, everybody. We hope you guys enjoyed this chat, a little bit of industry news and how things work in the industry. Alan, thank you for your time. Thank you to ML Toys for your support, guys. We have a link in the written description of this show for ML Toys. You can save some 10% on that. And we have a couple of other links to some products that I think you guys might enjoy as well. Check it out in the written description. I am home for a little while, so we're probably going to be doing a few more shows over the time here and get back to that. And if you guys like this, we need you guys to share this. We need you guys to watch it. We need to grow this YouTube channel, so do that for us. And if we can do that, then more of these can happen. I'm even trying to get Brian to kind of do them on his own too, where he can geek out on drag racing that I know a lot of people like and stuff like that too. Um, Alan, enjoy your weekend. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing these fire trucks, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Awesome. Goodbye, everybody. Stay powered up. It's Power Wheel Podcast. I like that. I like that. I think I need it. I like it's like my nitros to glory.
That could be
Catch.
it. Yeah.
There we go. Sweet. Check you guys later.
Cow RC is your one-stop shop for all things RC car maintenance, carrying everything you need to keep your cars looking good and working well. From the basic chassis cleaner that doesn't dry out your plastics, to jet air blasters, no need to carry large and loud air compressors, to simple wipes to keep both your hands and bodies clean. That's just the surface though. Everything needed to keep your cars working smoothly and optimally while staying organized, like silicone spray, light grease coating, silicone bench mats, and the almighty Utter Butter are also staples of Cow RC's large selection of products. Be sure to use code NNRC to save 10% off your next purchase from cowrc.com.